Hey, this is Dennis. It's Tuesday. I want to get back into Bible study. We're in the book of Acts, chapter 24. We're going to start with verse 10. Then Paul, after that the governor had beckoned unto him to speak, answered, Forasmuch as I know that thou hast been of many years a judge unto this nation, I do the more cheerfully answer for myself, because that thou mayest understand that there are yet but 12 days since I went up to Jerusalem for to worship. And they neither found me in the temple disputing with any man, neither raising up the people. He wouldn't stir up trouble, neither in the synagogues nor in the city. Neither can they prove the things whereof they now accuse me. They can't prove the stuff they accuse me of. But this I confess unto thee, that after the way which they called heresy, so worship I the God of my fathers, believing all things which are written in the law and in the prophets, and have hope towards God, which they themselves also allow, that there shall be a resurrection of the dead, both of the just and the unjust. And I believe that. This is my opinion. I think when we die, our spirit goes straight to the Lord, but our bodies stay in the ground. But when the Lord returns, there's going to be a resurrection of the dead, and we're going to be given new bodies, uncorruptible bodies. And I hope I'm not leading you wrong on that. And therein do I exercise myself to have always a conscience void of offense towards God and towards men. Paul's saying, I got a clear conscience towards men and God. Now, after many years, I came to bring alms to my nation and offerings, whereunto certain Jews from Asia found me purified in the temple, neither with multitude or with tumult, who ought to have been there, or ought to have been here before thee, and object if they had aught against me. So those people that were complaining back there in the temple, they ought to be here now making their case before you, the governor. Or else let these same here say, if they have found any evil doing in me, which I stood before the council, except it be for this one voice, this one guy here, that I cried standing among them, touching the resurrection of the dead, I am called in question by you this day. And when Felix heard these things, having more perfect knowledge of that way, so Felix was very knowledgeable about Jewish traditions and affairs. It actually says here he has a more perfect knowledge. He deferred them and said, when Lysias, the chief captain, shall come down, I will know the uttermost of your matter. And he commanded a centurion to keep Paul and to let him have liberty, that he should forbid none of his acquaintances to minister or come into him. So he kept him like under a house arrest, and his friends and acquaintances could come see him. And after certain days, when Felix came with his wife, Drusilla, which was his wife was a Jewish woman, he sent for Paul and heard him concerning the faith of Christ. And as he reasoned of righteousness, temperance, and judgment to come, Felix trembled. So Paul starts witnessing to him about Jesus Christ, and it got Felix shook up. He got trembling, and he answered and said, Go thy way for this time. When I have a convenient season, I will call for thee. Felix also hoped that money should be given him of Paul, that he might loose him. He was like, had his hand out, hoping Paul was going to give him some money so he could let him go. Wherefore he sent for him the offerater more often, and commuted with him. But after 2 years, so here 2 years goes by, Porcius Festus came into Felix' room. He was the governor. And Felix, willing to show the Jews a pleasure, left Paul bound. Alrighty, well, God bless y'all. And I'm going to come back and touch on this verse 26. We'll talk about that.